First on to, Arena presents one of the most ambitious dance projects ever seen on television, the Catherine Wheel.
The Catherine Wheel is the most ambitious work to date by one of the pioneers of contemporary American dance, Twayla Tharp.
Okay, yeah, now how are you getting that arm under her leg? He's actually lifting her leg. Do it again.
Her starting point was the legend of St. Catherine, the 4th century martyr who strove to overcome her human failings in pursuit of an almost abstract spiritual perfection. She's depicted in a non-human electronic form and becomes a model to Sarah, the main character in the dance. Sarah is driven by a hopeless ambition to achieve the unattainable discipline and control of this computerized Catherine.
What is interesting is Catherine's anti-physicality and the fact that we use a computer figure to represent the Catherine. I think she would have loved, because she was completely aphysical. Her notion was to be joined to God. Certainly no men were good enough, and she always wanted to be supranatural. Computers at this point sort of represent a future of extreme control, and therefore a figure that is a computer figure and is also a religious figurine of a person who has set out to attain the highest possible accomplishments, to have the most education, to be the purest of soul, to be the best spokesperson for Christianity. These were Catherine's crimes. This is why she was martyred. To poor Sarah's deranged mind, this seems desirable, that for some reason we should all strive to attain. So she sets out striving to become a perfect human being.
In a curious way, is that the ultimate aim of the dancer, if you like? In some way, is that an ideal for a dancer?
Well, unfortunately, the notion of abstract perfection is something that I think hounds a lot of people in a lot of ways, and it's sort of a pity, because you can never get to it, and you end up hating yourself most of the time, which is the case with many dancers much of the time. You are never good enough. You should always be able to do one more pirouette. Your elevation should always be a little stronger. Your elevation should always be a little more.
The extreme and rarefied ideals of Sarah and her chorus have their antithesis in the other main protagonists of the Catherine Wheel, the family. They're a burlesque of the so-called standard family, its stereotypes and its misfits. The mother and father, Tom and Jenny, the kids, the pet, the poet, and the maid. The family's behavior couldn't be further removed from the purity which Sarah aspires to. With their petty squabbles and indulgences, they're presented in a graphic, cartoon style, with undancely movements, daring even by the standards of modern choreography.
The movement that the family uses is very close to real movement. It's not extended very far. It's not abstracted very far from walking, running, sitting, pushing, shoving, physical acts that have verbs that we all know and recognize, unlike glissade, arabesque, jeté, things like this, which are only French for the same words we have. Glissade is to glide, but they have become so distilled that people now have a distance from that kind of movement vocabulary that I don't like. So I put in between the more naturalistic sources, at the same time hoping to be able to keep these extended and developed forms of movement that a more classical, the ballet, for example, represents.
After nearly 20 years, Twayla Tharp's work is still always surprising and always different. She's recently created a dance suite using the songs of Frank Sinatra, and in the past has found inspiration in music as diverse as Scott Joplin and Mozart. Her ability to draw convincingly on popular styles, as well as on the classical tradition, has enabled her to extend the language of choreography and to develop the individuality of each dancer.
I definitely encourage the individual, because people left to their own devices within certain parameters will function much better than people who are forced to do something in ways they don't understand. These others will get the same thing done, but they'll do it with a grace that isn't afforded someone if you tell them too much and too exactly how to do something. They will concentrate on the manner of execution rather on just getting the job done in the way their body understands best, and consequently how they look best and how they move the fastest or the slowest or whatever you're asking them to do. I really do profit enormously and value the fact that the dancers, as individual personalities, as people, as human beings, have an input into the work, that their character is important.
Most of Twayla Tharp's dancers have been with her since they began their careers. There's rarely been such a diverse and dedicated company. From each of them she demands an emotional and physical commitment, not only to the dancing itself, but to the roles that they play.
It was difficult in the sense that I had to get over being terribly self-conscious of being really ugly, and deep down inside enjoying it, but sort of being affected by how other people felt watching it and other people's comments. So it got harder to do, actually, because so many people had so much to say about it. Either they didn't want to see me be ugly, or they were repulsed by it, or they really liked it. It was very difficult. I mean, making faces and holding them and putting that kind of tension in your body is unlike what you try, it's sort of opposite of what you do as a dancer, trying to release that kind of tension. So to really pull something out to the last, that was very different.
Well, it's the longest piece I've ever done, and the hardest. And fortunately, it's divided into two camps, in a way, the family and the chorus, so that there are moments when we're off stage and they're doing the action and vice versa, and we're resting or changing. And changing is not a rest.
Most of the rests became changes.
Usually we do 3 or 4 pieces a night, and as an intermission we can let down. But even when you're off stage, you have to think of your character or your part or whatever it is. And there was worries of whether we'd get through the evening. A couple of evenings we had to stop. We had a fire and a few other things. This is when we were originally doing this on Broadway. And to get through the whole evening, you had to get yourself much more mentally prepared than I've ever had to before. Besides just movement, it was all the little things, and it kept going.
Tell me, Sarah, you got the most grueling part of this.
Well, there are those who would take exception.
Mark, I believe.
Maybe that's wrong. How did you come to play that role, you think? Why did you come to play that part?
She's nearest to my heart. She has to suffer the most.
That's right. That's right. It was, it was taking on the sense. Actually, Twayla was going to do it for a while, right? She made it as hard on herself as possible, which she usually does, and then I ended up with it.
Besides the Catherine wheel, the richest and most surprising image in the dance is the pineapple. Traditionally, a pineapple represents hospitality, a desirable though perfectly ordinary object. Here it mysteriously becomes a source of disruption, turning from something banal into something strange and malevolent.
It is traditionally a housewarming gift for a new household. I noticed that its shadow looked very like a bomb shadow. And it started becoming a character in the play. It started becoming something that we could relate to. It became an object of desire. It became a thing to tantalize with. It became something to bribe with. It became a prize. And then bit by bit, it became in control.
It's a rather sinister image, obviously, in this piece.
Its shadow is, but it looks on the surface to be quite lovable.
There are other ideas and other images which come out of it. How is it related, for instance, to the Catherine wheel?
Oh, this one's complicated. It's a cycle, of course. The Catherine wheel, the form of a wheel, is in fact the same as the cross-section of a pineapple, including down to the spikes on the outside of the wheel. That the cross-section of a pineapple then becomes the full pineapple, that the pineapple's shadow becomes a weapon of destruction, of torture, in fact, which is exactly what the Catherine wheel was designed to be in the first place. The one is clearly a very ancient symbol of destruction, if you will, and explosion, since that's what happened with the Catherine wheel. Catherine was to be martyred on the wheel, but God took mercy on her first time round. He let her be beheaded the second time. But first time round, he exploded the Catherine wheel, and it slew many pagans standing around. Obviously, the bomb is a very contemporary symbol of the same thing, and the two formally have this sort of analogy I found to perhaps have some meaning. The coincidence is a very interesting thing.
There's also the idea of the pineapple or the grenade as a kind of energy force, because it looks like a grenade as well.
Yes, it's called, actually, in the Army, a hand grenade is also called in slang a pineapple.
The final spectacular part of the dance is called the golden section, and here the characters come together to dance out a resolution of the ballet's various conflicting themes.
What happens is, in the end, is that things are returned to a if you will, Christian form, to a more pagan, primitive state. Namely, it goes all back to the sun, and it's out of that a real energy is generated. But it's not out of human legends and human constructions that the answers are found.
And yet, ironically, in terms of the choreography and in terms of the demands on the dancers, you are stretching them to their utmost at that point in the piece.
There are other moments, I think, in the piece that have dancing that is as developed and difficult as the golden section, but not sustained, and certainly not for everybody to that extent. But what I mean to say is the energy that drives the golden section is very different from what the Catherine puts forward. It's not nearly so academic. It's more just a outburst of energy. It doesn't have to be funneled and controlled and held in place.
Was that the idea to have at one end the kind of primeval thing, and at the other this very sophisticated computer technology which you're pitching one against the other?
Yes, in a way, and it returns to your question about energy, because the epitome of energy available, that's a very strange assortment of words, but it is almost correct, is in the amassing of force that is in a nuclear weapon. That has come to pass through, as we all know, the misapplication of intelligence. And how is it that people are going to find a way to organize themselves and channel what is a very real energy and which has to be used into something that can be constructive, namely like the sort of energy that propels itself through the golden section or that drives an athlete to accomplish the very highest and the most that can be done, but in a constructive way.
ketika tanda-tanda mereka dan Allah berkata tidak menentu apapun kamu pendusta besar. Itu penduduk seratu ketika tanda mereka.
been such a bad boy. I've been disobedient. I've made mistakes. I've made blunders. That's true of thousands and thousands of people. Little children don't mean anything. It's dope and liquor. I tell you, unsaved people don't have any means of deliverance. None.
starting over in another place. Let me tell you a